And the thing is, I do believe there was talk about these things. I believe if we study history, the Confederates were able to shoot pterodactyls, back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online.
Google it
They
yourself.
spread these things out, and this is a historical fact. So, they spread this thing out, and it's got a huge winglet. It was a pterodactyl they shot. So, of course, these things have been around. Now, they went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so...
What I'm saying is Jesus wrote a dinosaur to work. That's history. It's in the Bible. How to Train Your Dragon.
Historical facts.
And if you don't believe it, do your own research. Pull up Google. You'll find the picture, I promise.
Oh my God.
Thank you, John Gleason, Godless engineer, for gifting me this beautiful moment. Y'all remember when they tried to cancel Steven Spielberg for posing with an animatronic triceratops animal rights activist?
Back it up.
Hit it from the back.
Cloaca. Historical facts.
Eat my ass, BP. You're down here bailing on the rest of us because you don't want to process your grief and shame like a normal person by drinking and mistreating strangers.
No, Rick. It is you who must nibble my cloaca, or bird asshole.
Everyone knows what a cloaca is.
back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online. They spread these things out, and this is a historical fact. So, they spread this thing out, and this has got a huge winglet. It's a pterodactyl they shot. So, of course, these things have been around. Now, they went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so...
Paul Bunyan was sharing some Funyuns with his pet velociraptor.
Whoa.
Oh, you thought it was an ox? Roll back the clock. Let me knock the socks off. Historical facts.
I didn't cut out. You heard me. Are you a pervert or something? Okay.
What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Tonight, we're going to be taking a look at Andy Bannister? Andy Bannister. That's his name. Sorry. I fucked up his name. Anyways, Andy Bannister is going to be telling us what the consequences of atheism are. So, if you want to know what the consequences of not believing in a God is, other than let's see, you don't have to tithe 10% of your income every year. You don't got to feel shitty for just being a normal person. The list could go on as far as the quote-unquote consequences of just not believing in a God, but he's got some different ideas of what it means. So if you want to fuck around and find out exactly what he thinks is the consequences of not believing in God, then please stay tuned. Second. What's up, heathens? Today's video was brought to you by Ridge Wallets. Are y'all tired of carrying around big, thick wallets like this? Or how about you ladies? You tired of carrying around a big, giant, honking guy like this right here? Well, say no more. Get rid of those big, thick guys, and why don't you pick up a Ridge Wallet? Well, heathens, I gotta say, I love this Ridge Wallet. For one thing, it's got a small profile, but even though it has a small profile, it still holds up to 12 cards. See, you just pop the cards out right there, and then you can use it to buy your liquor. Oh, and another thing, it comes in about 30 colors, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. So, if you'd like 10% off your order at ridge.com, be sure to use the link below, or just go to ridge.com/godless engineer. And you too can have the most awesome wallet that you have ever had in your life. And you can finally get rid of this bulky motherfucker right here. Go with Ridge today. Ridge.com, Godless Engineer. Yes. So, Ridge.com, Godless Engineer. And for some reason, my hotkeys are apparently taking over with my VLC for some reason. Anyways, yeah, so we are nearing the end of our Ridge sponsorship. So I do appreciate Ridge sponsoring multiple videos here on the channel. If you want, it's actually 15% off. If you want 15% off, then hit up that link down in the description, and you can get 15% off of your Ridge wallet. Other housekeeping things that I gotta do, which I know this past weekend I said house cleaning. Here in a couple weeks we're going to be having Dr. Richard Carrier on to refute some of the things that Bart Ehrman said on Holy Kool-Aid's channel, because apparently that's who Holy Kool-Aid got to talk about the historicity of Jesus, was not a historian but a textual critic. Makes total sense, I guess. But in any case, we're going to be doing a live stream with Richard Carrier then, and then we're also going to be doing our normal streams. A portion of any of the proceeds that we get, or any of the revenue that we make off of the channel, goes to a charity. This month we're going to be buying Christmas presents for Kids to Love, and that's an organization that helps take care of foster kids. So they regularly need a lot of things, and we contact the organization to see what items are most in need for each year. And so we've been doing this for 3 years now. This right here is the 3rd year. So, a way to help us buy toys for foster kids is by becoming a Skeptic Mafia, like Reality Arts. Thank you so much for becoming a member. You can also do super chats. Those also help. We do have the Thanksgiving super chats on for this week and next week. So yeah, we got that going on. If you wanna help us out with buying presents for foster kids here in North Alabama, then consider doing a super chat, becoming a member, or just watching our videos. That helps too. That helps us buy toys. So that really helps. La reality. Got it. Yeah, see, if I had just been drinking more, then this wouldn't be a problem. Tonight, I have a weird concoction. It's Jameson whiskey, so it's Irish whiskey mixed with watermelon Game Fuel Zero, because we're out of Coke, Diet Coke. We're out of Diet Coke, so and I need to be on my toes for this banister thing, as well as the other content that we have in our live show. And hey, if you guys don't know, we do have a fairly structured live show here. We're about to go into Today I Learned, so that everybody can leave here at least learning something today. I'm sure that I won't provide you with any kind of new information from Andy's video, but at least you'll learn something. Then we also got comments, and Josephus is going to come on and drunkenly explain shit, and then we're going to respond to Andy Bannister's bull crap. So anyways, that's what I'm drinking tonight, in case anybody's wondering, and I guess we'll just go on ahead. I still haven't done the I haven't reset up my freaking transitions because I always forget. But first up is Today I Learned. Woohoo! Today I fucking learned to shut the fuck up. Nope, I never learned to shut the fuck up. All right. First up on Today I Learned, about Andres Bargio. I have not drank enough yet for that name. No. A Polish ski mountaineer who became the first person to ski down from the summit of K2, the world's second highest mountain. He climbed without supplementary oxygen and then skied down in about 7 hours. Can you imagine a full day's worth of skiing to get down a fucking mountain? I can't. I'm not that fucking crazy. So good for him for doing that. So, all right. Next up on Today I Learned, we've got in 2006, the movie Idiocracy was released in only 7 cities and expanded to 130 theaters rather than the typical 600. The film's distributor was entirely absent in promoting it. And while posters were released to theaters, no movie trailers, no ads, no press kits, and only 2 stills were released. You know, that doesn't surprise me because I never heard of the movie until I was able to watch it on, I think it was like maybe HBO or something. But in any case, I feel like it was more prophetic than than people realized. We got Daniel M. Their first, I think it's our first super chat of the night, and I'm really hoping that my notifications are working. Have not seen nor heard. Well, shit. All right, y'all, hold on one second. Okay, I refreshed it, so it should be working fine now. I'm so sorry about that, Daniel M, that your notification got missed there. But Daniel M says, David says good night. Also, he said he saw something under there. Under where? Where that, you know, that I feel like that's like the kid in the room that looks to the corner and is like, look at him, he's funny, and it's like there's nobody there. Kid, could you quit like scaring the fuck out of me? Sorry, David. I hope you have a good night there, bud. And I will see. I guess I'll talk to you next Friday. Daniel M said, ha ha ha, he just made you say underwear. Oh fuck, he got me. Cadence says sacrificial super chat to test. I don't see any of the notifications coming up, and it is visible. So maybe there's something wrong in Stream Element. YouTube. Let's see. Hopefully I'll fix it here in just a second. I edit this shit. Let's see.
You know, donate this much only makes me drink more.
I was just testing it. Okay, so it's not. Oh, Jason Kolasik did a test. Alex said just saw a disgusting Instagram ad where some Dakota boys and girls ranch wants money to give foster kids Bibles as if that will heal their trauma. Yeah, I don't know about healing their trauma with that, but might give them more trauma. Let's see. I don't know. Weird. Holy shit, this'll be a cranberry log.
Yeah, that was, you probably got an echo on that one. So, great. Tech issues with GE, that's right. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the alerts tonight. So sorry about that. We got Drew's Book Reviews, who's got a milestone chat. Consequences of Atheism for me. Bishops not using my personal info for political gain. Yes, that has happened to me before. Oh, and 10% raise for no tithes. Alex Baranowski also said, also rip my male Peruvian leaf mantis. Got eaten by my female, but he managed to get the job done. If y'all know what that means. Cadence that are superficial chat. Yeah, I think I'm caught up. For some reason, the notifications aren't coming up tonight. I think it might be a technical issue on the Stream Elements side, but in any case, we're just gonna move right on along. And so sorry about that, heathens. Maybe I'll occasionally run through some, maybe. Okay. But anyways. Let's get to our third Today I Learned. Today I learned that women committing seppuku would often tie their knees together so that their bodies would be found in a dignified pose. So, I guess... Oh, okay. So, seppuku, let's see. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I haven't had enough to drink. Not how to pronounce. It's a harikiri, which is a ritual suicide. So basically, let's see, it was formerly practiced in Japan by samurai as an honorable alternative to disgrace or execution. Basically, you disembowel yourself with a sword. Yeah, you shove it in yourself, and you let go from. It was just a Today I Learned I had. Alex did a super chat saying seppuku is that Japanese unalive method where you impale yourself with a sword. Yep. All right. Well, in case you didn't know that, sometimes women committing that tie their knees together. Kind of sucks. A little down. Hey, y'all ready for dumbass comments? Comments of the day. Prepare to face bomb yourself in the next week. Still got to come up with an animation for that. First up, we got Frank Turek on Twitter. I had to switch to my Brocephus account on Twitter, or I had to borrow Brocephus's account on Twitter. And so Frank Turek says, Christianity claims that God enters the bloodstream of humanity to take evil upon himself, and by trusting in what he's done, you've accepted what he's done. And God, therefore, will bring you into his presence and will not quarantine you in a place called hell. So, in case you're curious, whenever you become a Christian, I guess when you get baptized, God enters your bloodstream and I guess vaccinates you against the possibility of going to hell. Although I would question what is it? What kind of requirements does he have? Because I mean, sincerely, I've been reading about Christianity for a long time, and I still can't tell you what's the surefire way to get into heaven. Is it just believing in God? Well, depending on what denomination you are, yeah. Is it just believing in Jesus? Well, yeah, that could be it, depending on the denomination. So it really kind of depends on what kind of denomination you're in. Frank Turk's kind of in the dipshit denomination, I guess. He's a creationist. He's got that from the, was it goo to the zoo to you or something, some kind of bullshit like that. Anyways, he's a creationist. So I'm wondering, like, if you don't believe completely in the Bible, do you get thrown into hell? Like, do you got to be a creationist in order to get into heaven? I don't fucking know. The Bible doesn't exactly say. I mean, if all you got to do is believe in Jesus, then, you know, there are several people that are going to heaven that probably shouldn't. So anyways, I don't know. That seems weird. We got Little Cedar who says, I got a tainted dose, still going to hell. See, it's like Stream Elements, the little chat bots working, but notifications aren't. Just pisses me off a little bit. What? The notifications? I know. I'm really bummed about it. Like, I don't understand why it's not, but I'm gonna turn off this merch timer because I just don't want to see that fucking chat. Yeah. Fuck your bot, motherfucker. See, what I can do, I can do this.
Gobble till you wobble, y'all.
It probably sounds weird when it's duplicated like that. But it's working. Thank you, Little Cedar, for your super chat. I'm gonna maybe leave it up so that it could potentially, you know, help right there. Anyways, all right. So that's it for Frank Turek. He's kind of a weirdo. There's some weirder tweets from Frank, but I felt like that was kind of fucking enough. God entering your bloodstream and everything. I don't know. That seems wrong. Anyways, so I've gotten a lot of comments this week about my mythicist position. If you guys don't know, I am a mythicist. I don't believe that Jesus existed in history. I think that he was always a celestial figure. And apparently some people feel the need to come on and tell me how much of a dipshit I am. Like this guy, Bink. I guess that's how you pronounce his name. He says, I'll believe Dr. Bart Ehrman over you since he has a doctor before his name. In history, unlike in engineering, there are no definites. Yes, that's right. There are no definites in history. Primarily because, you know, history is very opinion oriented. You have a lot of opinions that go on. There are some like principles that you can employ that will get you to the best answer, but all that kind of goes out the window when it comes to Jesus. They just fucking toss that shit out of there like it was a broken toaster. But it's kind of weird. Also, don't just trust somebody because they have a doctor in front of their name. I'll have you know that Gene Kim is a doctor. So if you're going to trust somebody like Dr. Gene Kim before you trust like me, just some asshole on the internet, go for it. He's a doctor, right? But another thing that I'll say is that I'm not presenting any kind of information that hasn't already been presented by real experts in the field. I'm just relaying what the experts are saying, and I put a lot of curse words in it. Like Jesus probably didn't fucking exist, you know, things like that. And so when you say that you'll believe Bart Ehrman over me, you're saying that you'll believe Dr. Bart Ehrman over all of these other people with doctors in front of their names. You'll believe this one guy over all the other ones that I'm bringing up, and it seems a little weird for that to be the linchpin in whether or not you believe. So or whether or not you'll listen to me, not whether or not you'll believe. It's whether you'll listen to me. And then we got this person, Sam, who says in Galatians 1:19, Paul declares that he met James, the brother of Jesus. Technically, that's not what it says. In Galatians 1:19, he says that James is the brother of the Lord, or a brother of the Lord, or whatever. And so, because of that, because he is the brother, a brother of the Lord, or the brother of the Lord, the way that Paul uses that kind of language is very ambiguous. So the Paul's idea about the family of God is that once you're baptized into the family of God, you become part of the family of God and are therefore a brother or sister of Jesus, because Jesus is the firstborn amongst many brethren. And so because Paul has this particular theology that's in his earliest writings, it only makes sense that he most likely meant this in a more fraternal sense. No, that's not fictive kinship, in more of a fictive kinship kind of sense. So this isn't actually definite proof. This is ambiguous proof. And yeah, so I don't know. I'm not convinced by this, but there are plenty of other people. We got Elizabeth Richardson, who says, wouldn't be a Friday night without technical issues. Get some toys for the kiddos. Thank you so much there, Elizabeth. Next up, we got the only, let's see, Todd Beard says the only non-biblical 1st century, early 2nd century historians to mention Jesus were Josephus in 93 CE and Tacitus in 116 AD. A bit late for a divine being known for his spectacular miracles. That would be a good point. There are about 42 different people in the 1st century that should have written about Jesus, whether he was doing miracles or magic tricks or whatever, or if he was just another apocalyptic messianic figure. These people should have written about him, but they don't. But I don't think that Josephus or Tacitus actually mention him legitimately. And I've got several videos, especially on my GE Shorts channel, which is godlessengineering.com/GE Shorts. You can go there and you can and you can see those videos. But basically, I don't think that even they mention him. So I guess thank you, Todd, with 1D, for your comment about that. And then Oreo Pegas, this Oreo guy is the one that sent me like a list of links that show from the beginning of the Bible to the end of the Bible that there's no biblical contradictions. And so that was this guy's email. And he says, Mr. Engineer, did Pontius Pilate exist? Yes, Pontius Pilate did exist. Not only do we have evidence in eyewitness accounts, or secondary accounts like Josephus, he writes about Pontius Pilate, but we also have archaeological evidence like the Pilate stone that has Pilate's name written on it. And we have multiple ways to know that Pilate did exist in the past. And that does not in any way compare to Jesus's evidence. And then finally on the comments, we got this guy commenting a little late on this video saying, I could tell by your voice that you're a deuce. And so I think that he means that like I'm a shit, because that's what people say is like you're a dude, like they use deuce for meaning shit. So I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. But in any case, I was really pressed to get this video out. The flat earthers, Jeranism, and Bob debunk themselves. And I was really pressed to get that out, and I was sick at the time. And so like my voice was really raspy. So my voice was not that great at the time. And it was kind of a bad thing. Oh, somebody's suggesting that maybe he meant douche. Could mean douche. I don't know. I guess we'll never know because I doubt that Jason's gonna come back and leave a comment. But anyways, that's gonna be it for the comments tonight. We do have shitty ass science next. We do. We have a shitty ass science, and I don't know if I have this queued up. Fuck no. I gotta go get Brocephus. Hold on. I'm gonna have to play my own theme song though because you're a lazy ass. You're gonna take my what? No, I'll be good. All right, so let me see. Shitty ass science. We're gonna answer some science things really wrong. There you go, shitty ass science. All right, what do we got tonight? I hear them damn them damn alerts aren't working, so I guess I won't be interrupted tonight. Total shame though. I love seeing myself on the screen down there. Yeah, it's awesome. Anyways, so this person's asking, why do babies levitate over grass? Well, it was originally a video, and I remember watching this, and I mean, the babies, they just won't touch grass. They're like, fuck it, nope. I'm like Mission Impossible. I just can't. There's a force field here, and it just won't touch. And so to explain this scientifically, babies have this like magnetic field that is totally polarized against grass. Grass gives off a certain magnetic frequency, and the babies are at that opposite frequency, and so they just simply won't touch the grass. You could just lob a baby onto. Don't throw your babies out into the yard. I'm just saying that they just will sort of glide across the yard. They won't even touch that motherfucker. They'll just. I mean, I'm surprised people haven't tried to play. Oh, what's that one game where you got the stick and it's like, and you shoot it? Shuffleboard. I'm surprised they don't have baby shuffleboard. And I mean, only atheists would play that, you know. So I mean, but anyways, that's how you explain that shit right there. Is that they are giving off opposite frequencies to the grass, and it just doesn't allow them to touch it. Now, this frequency will wear off eventually, so that they can touch the grass. All right. Normally, it's when they get a little bit older and they just don't care about whether or not they touch the grass. It just sort of seamlessly flows into it. So, I mean, it just at some certain point, they stop giving off this anti-grass frequency that doesn't allow them to touch it. And I mean, it's just a normal process of like fucking growing up and shit. I mean, I remember when I was a little redneck, I didn't touch the grass neither, although my daddy, he just sort of slid me across the grass, you know, to his drunk friends over there, and we was having a good time. I mean, I had fun, I think. I don't know. I don't remember being that young. But anyways, I think the moral of this TED Talk today is don't roll your children across the grass. That's not good, but they definitely won't touch the grass if you were to do it. So, there you go. All right. Well, that's going to be it for me tonight. Y'all need to praise Jesus and suck that dick, and I guess I will see you heathens later. Yeah, don't forget to do the thing with Jesus. That was nice. Hey. Oh, also, y'all are going to hell. I'm bound, but so just I do. Josephus is contractually obligated by God to tell us that we're going to go to hell. I think that this is quite interesting. The fact that the babies won't touch grass. Like, it was so weird because every time they would lower the babies near the grass, they'd be like, nope, not fucking touching that, daddy. Nope, not doing it. One kid did a whole Mission Impossible thing where he was like, dun 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 dun, dun, not touching that grass there, daddy. Dun 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 dun, no, I'm not doing it, woman. Dun 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 dun, and it was basically Mission Impossible. All right, so what? Oh, okay. Yeah, Otangela's good at that whole distraction shit. All right, y'all ready to get into the response video? I know I am. Only these fucking notifications would work. Shit. I wonder if it has something to do with me streaming through Stream Elements. Streaming through Restream. I don't know why that would matter, because it's obviously able to play from over here. It's just not detecting the super chats tonight for some fucking reason. Thanksgiving is not a good day to be my pants. Yep, in stereo. But I think that what I can do actually is I can cut the sound off on there. Maybe tell me. Let me see. I can actually listen now. I think maybe this. Listen, donating this much money only secures your seat in hell. Yeah, so I tell you, can I don't know if y'all know this, but just a little bit of a computer nerd thing. You can actually turn off individual application sounds. So like you can go into your sound mixer and you right click on the little if you're on Windows, obviously. I don't know about you Mac folk. I haven't fucked around with that yet, but there's an open volume mixer and you can go to specific applications and you can turn the sound on and off. So I'm gonna have to manually do these fucking notifications tonight. Although it's not gonna have your name up there correctly, but let's see. Here's one I think needs to be said. I gotta tell you, I am thankful for my liquor. I am thankful for my liquor. Y'all have actually bought liquor for me a couple times this month, because that's how often I have to go to the liquor store. But hey, Alex's super chat. Oh, Alex says, when I raised tadpoles, I found if you didn't put them on soil at metamorphosis, they didn't recognize it as they got older. Like they didn't recognize soil? That's interesting. Let's see, that was a $4.99 one. Donating this much only makes me drink more. Right. Mm-hmm. I Heart Dogs doing a super chat for the toy drive. I don't know what y'all have heard, but donating is not going to make me stop. Fuck me in the asshole. The stuttering just makes it better. Thank you so much there, I Heart Dogs. All right. So this is Andy Bannister. Andy has he's got a lot of thoughts about atheism. He doesn't like it one bit. He really hates it. He thinks that he pretty much thinks that I guess we'll get into what he thinks. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to let him tell us.
What are some of the implications if God doesn't exist? Now, maybe you think that's a curious question, but actually many atheist philosophers down through the ages have been willing to admit that yes, if there is no God, if we reject God, throw God out the window, some other things go too. One of the most...
I don't really think, well, I mean, the other things that go are pretty much just whatever religious people have piled onto the definition of God, or the explanations that they have attributed or that they have used God for. Like, for instance, if there were no God, then, you know, hundreds of years ago, we would need a different explanation for thunder and lightning or rain or any of the other natural things that we've noticed. We would need a different explanation for comets in the sky and stars that explode that we can actually see with our naked eyes or some shit. Like, we would need alternate explanations because we don't have that one available to us anymore. I mean, the same thing happens when we disregard any other kind of notion that was used to explain things. So I don't understand why that's an issue. So the implications of atheism would be there's no God, so anything that you think is because of God would therefore need some other kind of explanation for it. We got another super chat from Alex Baranowski. Oh, can you smell the pumpkin spice? Alex Baranowski says his kitchen reminds me of one of those I Spy books. Use this donation to buy an I Spy book for the kiddos. Well, we'll take a note of that. Thank you.
Famous people to argue that was Friedrich Nietzsche, very famous 19th century atheist, who talked extensively about what actually depends upon God, and if you lose God as the foundation, the things that you built upon him naturally collapse. And for him, the most famous one, the most important one, was perhaps any sense of good and evil.
Okay, so if you are religious and you stop believing in God, then you don't just lose the ability to, analyze certain actions and determine that they are moral or immoral. I guess he's using Friedrich Nietzsche because Nietzsche had this problem. I really don't care what Friedrich Nietzsche thought on this particular subject. I care what I think about it, and what I think about it is that just because we don't believe in God doesn't mean that our ability to analyze moral actions as being morally good, morally bad, or morally neutral doesn't just simply go away. It reminds me a lot of irreducible complexity, because the same kind of thought process gets brought up in that area too for creationists. Like, I do believe he's a creationist, but that's neither here nor there. And with the bacterial flagellum, basically, they think that if you remove even one protein from it or something, it just goes away, vanishes, poof, it's out of here. But that's not actually what happens. We find that if you remove proteins and you remove certain pieces of the bacterial flagellum, you just find that the mobility is affected. It doesn't work as well. And so it's not that, secular morality doesn't work as well. It's just that it doesn't go poof. Like, it just doesn't disappear. If you don't believe in God, you can still, come to moral conclusions about things. And that's because moral conclusions are the product of an intelligent, mind, of a sufficiently advanced enough central nervous system that allows you to make those kinds of decisions. So to think that, just because I don't believe in God anymore, that means that this particular ability that I have just goes poof, is a bit ridiculous when you really think about it. Jason Kolosik,
donating this much only makes me drink more.
And right. So Jason Kolosik says, sorry, we replaced God with Google. Gives better answers. That's right. I think Google does. But the main thing to take away from this first point, and I'm going to let him fully flesh it out, but it just simply doesn't go away. We just now have to consider what we actually think is morally good, bad, or neutral. It's no longer a God telling us. It's no longer this standard of, well, what is God like? What does God want? We don't have this anymore. So you have to figure out another way to explain it. You got to figure out another way to say, oh yes, this is wrong. And I don't see I don't see that as being that big of a deal. Like it's just something that we always do. We got Wizard of Oz. I should say Wizard of Oz.
Gobble till you wobble, y'all.
That's right, gobble till you wobble. Wizard of Oz says, I misunderstood what you meant by toy drive. What am I supposed to do with all this lube? Shit. I don't know. Give it to somebody. Anyways, I'm gonna let Andy continue now.
You see, if you have no God, if there is no God, if you're an atheist, it's very hard to justify any claim that there are some things that are good and some things that are evil.
I totally disagree with this point. I don't think that it's hard for us to justify things that are good or bad. He says evil. I don't really like that whole, I don't like labeling things as evil. I think that there are some things that are just beyond the pale. I think that there are extremely bad things, but I don't like using the word evil. In any case, though, I don't find that I have a hard time morally justifying anything. I think that I just have to figure out what I actually believe about stuff. Like, I'm not having to rely on a book or another person to tell me what is good or bad. I now have to determine that for myself. And yeah, that's a little difficult at times. Like, you have to sit there and you have to actually consider what you believe and why you believe it. I mean, I feel like doing a little bit of work in order for you to come to your own conclusions is not a bad thing. We got Alex Baranowski sending us another super chat.
Whew. Thanksgiving is not a good day to be my pants.
Fucking right. Alex Baranowski says, lol, the lube comment followed by Andy saying it's very hard. How hard is it? Enough where he probably needs that lube.
Friends love to do that. Richard Dawkins, one of those famous atheists for the last 20 years or so, he likes to call religion evil. And I would say to him, Richard, where do you get this language from? Because on atheism, there are only particular configurations of atoms, to be frank. And what gives you the rights and how can you justify looking at one configuration of atoms and going, well, that's right, another configuration saying that's wrong?
Okay, well, you see, for the most part, we all live in a society. And I realize that maybe this is really basic shit for an adult his age, but it apparently needs to be explained to him. We all live in societies. Each society kind of imbues this sort of standard for morality. We would say that these are societal norms or whatever. And even within a society, you have different pockets that have different societal norms, but you have this general, like, base societal norm that is generally accepted by whatever society that you're in. The American society is vastly different than like other societies. I mean, we're perfectly fine with, school shootings and everything, and we make all kind of justifications for that. Hell, as long as you're white and male, you can literally kill people in the streets and you'll be let go free. So, I mean, you have to understand that every society has these norms, and every society pushes these norms on its people just by the very pure fact that they are a society. And so that makes it not that hard of a thing to determine what is morally good or bad. And I mean, you still have to do a little bit of work, but I feel like this is just complaining that, oh, it's not as easy as having to reference a book or being able to ask your pastor or priest whether or not this is good or bad. In fact, I would say that the currently a lot of denominations out there are not are not congruent with our current shifting set of social norms, because you know we've got several groups out there that are very like anti-LGBTQ and LGBTQ persons, while you know they're not treated equally in the world today at all. There is a more tolerance now than there has been in the past, and so we see society moving in that direction, in a very progressive direction, and we've always seen this throughout time. So I would say that staying stagnant with this whole idea of, well, what would piss God off, is not how societies have generally been shown to function. And to stick with that stagnant idea, I feel like you're going to be left behind by society. And you're going to be one of them crazy people that's out there like, yeah, we should definitely stone people and shit and everything. And you're that crazy person everybody, records with their phone.
That's wrong. And really, as Nietzsche pointed out all those years ago, all you have on atheism is personal preference. And if there is no God, those who are strong get to enforce their preferences on the weak or the herd, as Nietzsche charmingly put it, and any idea that there is such a thing as justice, right, wrong, and so on goes totally out the window. So
well, I mean, I disagree with that. In fact, I say that Christianity, there's no real justice to be had there, because what Christianity says is, oh, well, you'll get your comeuppance after this life. And that ends up with a lot of people relying on somebody that's actually committed a crime to get right with God. And they don't realize that just because they ask themselves for forgiveness, that means that somehow they're changed. Like, if you just take the pedophile problem in the Catholic Church or in any of the denominations, I mean, you have a lot of communities out there, especially Catholic communities, that just think, oh, say 12 Hail Marys, or, go off to this special place where you're, it's basically like a vacation, and then you can get cycled back into the parishes and everything like that. As long as you get right with God, everything's fine. You just have that conversation with God. If God forgives you, then, you can lead the church youth group, which you shouldn't be able to do if you're caught being a pedophile like that. But my point is that I feel like in Christianity, there's no justice. There's just this sort of faux justice. Like, you have this idea that after this life, they're going to be taken care of. Like, they're going to be punished or something like that. But even within Christianity, there's an easy way around it. You do something bad and then you repent for it. And I mean, true, and some, depending on the denomination, like Catholics, it's not that easy, but with Protestants, if you get forgiven, like you get, like, if you do the one bad thing, like let's just say you're a priest or a pastor rather, and you get caught, pedophiling it up, and then you get right with God and you don't do it ever again. Well, he'll end up dying and quote unquote going to heaven, while the child that he violated could possibly end up in hell. Like if they fall out of the faith, or they have all these psychological problems that come with the fact that this person wasn't punished for violating them and hurting them as a child, and everybody acted like it was all perfectly fine. That child could end up going to hell because of that person, and that person would go to heaven. How is this justice? How is this really providing any kind of sense of justice for anybody? I feel like it comes down to a lot of wishful thinking. Like, this person did something bad, and God's going to make sure that they get what they deserve. And I feel like the only justice that we could ever really know is the justice that we have now. Like, is the justice that we as people can dole out. That's why we have to make sure that justice is served in this life, because we don't know what happens after this life. We don't know if there is anything after. More likely, I don't think anything is after this life, and I think that most likely nothing happens after this life. But the fact that they're banking on something happening after this life is just crazy. We got another super chat from Alex Baranowski.
I gotta tell you, I am thankful for my liquor.
Thank you so much there, Alex, saying, whoa, GE. I gotta say, the kid will have psychological issues regardless of whether or not the guy is punished. Well, yeah. So the child, like the person will have psychological issues in that particular situation. So I didn't mean for it to sound like they possibly couldn't or whatnot, but I'm just saying that I don't think that Christianity really provides a lot of justice in any kind of sense. So I feel like he's special pleading about this. He's acting like, oh, well, only God can give out this kind of justice. But really, it's us that dole out the justice.
First implication, if there is no God, there is no justice, there is no right. Second implication, if there is no God, freedom is the next thing to go out the window.
Freedom, honey. I know. There's freedom goes out the window without God. Exactly what kind of freedom does he think exists with God? I don't know if you guys have read the Old Testament, but we're actually going through it on the channel here every Tuesday, generally. Every Tuesday at about 11:30 in the morning, we read from the Old Testament. And I gotta say, it doesn't, like, that doesn't translate to freedom for me. Because in the Old Testament, you had to do exactly what God wanted you to do. And even in the New Testament, you got to do exactly what Jesus wants you to do in order to get into heaven. Of course, that depends on denomination or, however you interpret the New Testament or whatever. But with the Old Testament, God was like, if you don't follow my exact words, I am going to fuck you up. And he does too. Like he hires mercenaries to go in and kill his chosen people. He even has hit squads go through the towns and murder people just on the spot. He has he opens up sarlacc pits in the middle of the desert so that it can swallow a whole bunch of Israelites. Like, if that's not freedom. Like that in no way screams freedom. You have to obey this God in all of his crazy things. You have to obey what he says. Doesn't matter how weird it is that he wants you to bedazzle his fucking Ark of the Covenant that he uses probably for dirty things. But it doesn't matter how much you bedazzle the Ark of the Covenant, bedazzle his throne room, or have to prostrate yourselves in order to please him. You've got to do it, or else you're fucked. So I really don't understand this concept of without God, there's no freedom.